have to watch a clock. I don't even have to watch a clock. I don't even have to watch a clock.
Hello. Happy Monday. Thank you so much for listening to the Bold Moves Podcast. I am the host, Mandy Bryce, and I am super excited to start the week, unless you're listening to this in the middle of the week, with another inspiring interview with someone who has taken big risks, left their comfort zone, and has great success stories to tell because of it. This week, I am sharing my time with Devoreaux Walton, who uses style and other coaching mechanisms to help people get from where they are now to where they want to be. She works primarily with women, but she can definitely give some tips that help anyone from any gender. So I really hope you enjoy my chat with Miss Devoreaux Walton. All right. Hello, everyone. I am so excited to chat today with Devoreaux Walton. Welcome to the show, Devoreaux.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really delighted to be here. I'm so excited, Mandy.
I'm excited too, and the pleasure is all mine. First of all, of course, you know that you're on the show because you've made some bold moves. So why don't we start off with you sharing your story and some of the risks that you've taken with me and the audience?
Sure. So I am a women's empowerment author, speaker, and coach. And the boldest move I've taken, I would say, for this year so far in 2019 is writing and publishing my first book titled Je ne sais quoi. So it's been a really exciting project, and I've worked on it for a long time. But I'm certainly very excited to now have it out in the world and be on the other side of being a author and not just, undercover, having to secretly hide and share what I'm doing only with close friends and family. So it's been a really cool and exciting journey. Before I wrote my book, I've been a coach for about 3 years, just helping women to increase their confidence in themselves and really be able to unlock the best version of themselves so that they can live the best version of their lives. And so it's all about self-confidence, empowerment, and really helping women to unlock and maximize their greatest potential.
I love that. So where in the world are you chatting with me from?
Yes. So I'm originally from Atlanta, and I'm currently in Dallas, Texas. And I share that because being Southern is in my nature. It's a part of certainly my influences and some of my inspiration. And so I'm a proud Southern belle, Mandy.
I love that. The reason why I asked is because you mentioned some, before we were recording and we were chatting about your name, you mentioned some Creole influence in your family, and I see the Eiffel Tower in a picture behind you, and your book is named Je ne sais quoi. So I was wondering if you were in maybe Louisiana or something a little more close to France and the Francophone world than Dallas.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've had the pleasure of visiting Louisiana one time, but I have no family there. So it's been really interesting. I think that I've just always been enchanted by Paris and France and the entire French way of living. And so, having a French first name has been a really good brand fit. I think my mom probably saw this coming into fruition, several years ago, and that's why she gave me this name. But it's been just a really beautiful journey to really discover how French people live and really embrace and enjoy life much differently than Americans do. And I'm sure they have a higher quality of life because of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you been to Paris?
I have. The last time I was in France was in 2013, and I stayed for 2 weeks, and it was life-changing. I'm so excited to go back. Hopefully, I'm looking at a trip next year. So if I can go at least once every 5 to 10 years, I'm doing well.
Absolutely. Yes. You can't complain about that. I love it. All right. So in addition to the picture of Paris behind you, I see your book over your shoulder. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about Je ne sais quoi?
Sure. So I really wanted to give women a resource to really unlock and uncover their feminine power. And so I define feminine power as the best version of yourself as a woman and really owning and authentically embracing that. I think sometimes as women, especially in our career, we can really easily feel like we need to fit into a mold and we can't be ourselves, we can't be authentic. And so I wanted to create a resource teaching women how to do that, how to do that effectively. So Je ne sais quoi is a book to really uncover every single area of your life, starting with your mindset, working through your self-love and self-worth journey, as well as your wardrobe, personal style, and even your communication and social skills, so that you can really embrace and step into your feminine power and define what that looks like for you. I think so many of us, because of this social media culture and this world we live in with Instagram and Pinterest and Facebook, we're so easily falling into the trap of comparing ourselves to other people. And it's really important to kind of just blaze your own trail and dare to be different, dare to have that confidence, and dare to be bold.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense to me. And of course, you know that I'm a big proponent of being bold, hence the show. So I appreciate that. You mentioned, I loved how you said, well, my biggest bold move this year so far, because I always say that the people I interview, it's very rare that they have done just one bold move. And then from there, they just are rusting or playing it safe. And you also mentioned that you have been coaching for 3 years. So what were you doing before you made the switch to coaching? I'd love to hear any other bold moves you want to share. And then I'm curious too, I always find it so interesting when I talk to people who pick a specific demographic, like working specifically with women. So I'd love to hear why and how that came to be as well.
Sure. So before I started my business, I was enjoying a corporate career in marketing. My background is in a lot of brand and digital marketing strategy. Mm-hmm. And so I was working at a marketing agency, had been at some different technology companies, different startups. So across a couple of different industries, retail, tech, and, marketing definitely has been a huge area that I've been able to leverage in my business. And I'm very grateful for that, especially being on YouTube and having a channel and sharing and creating so much content. It's been great to have that background. And so I was working in a job in marketing and just really wanted to have a way to have a connection to personal style and fashion and really inspire women to really be able to use it to their advantage. I think style is a tool that people can use for success. And so that's how everything in my business really started. It really began as just initially a blog where I was sharing some inspiration and some advice, and that really evolved into educational materials and other resources. And that's from my own personal journey of being once in a place where I felt like there was a huge disconnect between who I wanted to be and who I was. And so I spent time and financial resources and really reached out to invest in myself with other coaches and with other women. And after being able to transform my life with elegance and with confidence, I wanted to be able to show women and teach them the way. And so that's a bit about my journey and how things kind of came into play with where I am. I would certainly say that over the years, I've worked with men, not necessarily on confidence, but specifically around their style and image. But what I have found is that there's just so much research, and even just in my own personal experiences interacting with women and men, there's a huge need for women to increase their confidence. And women, more so than men, have a confidence deficit. Yeah. And so it's a bigger problem, it's a bigger need, and I really want to help to fill that gap, to just give that encouragement, that inspiration for a woman who feels like she's maybe lost herself in having, a family or in growing her career. And I really just want women to understand that they can truly be the smart and talented and capable women chasing all of their dreams and goals and not necessarily having to play it safe or feel like they need to be complacent and stuck in a rut. And so that really inspired me to do everything that I'm doing today. I would say that over the years, I've had so many bold moves. Writing my book has been probably my biggest one so far this year, but I'm really excited for the future and what that holds. It's going to include a TED Talk. I have at least 2 more books on the way. One is going to be about specifically just personal style, and another book about entertainment and lifestyle and home decor. So I've got a lot of great plans and great things in the works coming soon.
That's awesome. I'm excited to see how all of those things go. So first of all, I guess for anyone else who is interested in following you along this journey and the things that are coming up, where can we find you online if we want to either work with you as a coach, you said, get your book, or just see what you're doing?
Sure. The best place to find me online is at themodernlady.com. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter as Devoreaux Walton, but my name is a little bit of an interesting spelling. So it's probably easiest to find all of my social media and my YouTube channel from themodernlady.com.
Okay, awesome. And we'll put all of that in the show notes too, so that it's easily accessible for people.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So aside from reading your book and future books, can you tell me a little bit about your coaching process and the different options that are available there?
Sure. So as a coach, I have a couple of different offerings for women based on where they are in their lives and what type of support they need. For a woman who is maybe just in a pinch, she's got a quick question or maybe a few questions and really just needs some high level assistance or support. I do have a one-on-one session, which I call Ask Me Anything. And in an hour, we're on a video chat connected. We're talking through any of the questions or challenges that a woman may have. It could be around a wardrobe question for attending an event, or a social skills question for how to introduce herself or pitch her business, or have a conversation with her boss at work over a difficult topic, whatever it could be related to mindset, social skills, or wardrobe and style. And so that session is really a great time to for women to just get all of the clarity that they need on how to proceed and move forward in the best way possible, while maintaining their dignity and their confidence. And so in addition to that, my main program is called The Secret to Chic, and it's a 7-week coaching program where I give women all of the strategies, principles, and wisdom to really unlock their confidence. And for a lot of women that feel stuck in a rut, or they are a little bit uncertain, unsure about themselves, their talents, their skills, their future, what they want to do. They're just trying to figure it out. And so for a lot of women that are lost, it really is the best investment for them to just take the plunge and do the 7-week program to fully transform not just themselves, but their life. And so most women I work with typically come through the Secret to Chic program so that they can really get all of the resources and all of the support that they need. I also do have a free online community called the Modern Lady Society, where women can enjoy the sense of community with other women from around the world. And so thanks to technology, it's so easy for us to connect on a global scale and really support and encourage one another. So I do monthly free training in that group for women who are just trying to figure out whether or not they want to make the investment, they want to take the risk and really step into their feminine power. But I will say, Mandy, that the majority of the women that do decide to invest in themselves, they're not fearful of failure. They're fearful of success. They are, stuck in a place where if they actually get all of their goals accomplished and they actually become and live the life that they want to live and become the woman they want to be, they're scared of that. So it's not really the fear around what if I try and it doesn't work. It's what if I try and it does work? What if I blow myself away? And so it's been really interesting to learn that about my audience and these women that are just so incredibly ambitious and talented, and they just really have to get out of their own way to get to the next level.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that group you were talking about, is that on Facebook? You're free. Was it the Modern Lady Society?
Yes, it is. And it's also linked from my website, themodernlady.com as well. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure everyone knows exactly where to go to get this awesome stuff that you're putting out there. So I'm curious, of all of the series of bold moves you've made up to this point, what was the scariest one so far?
Well, I would say that the scariest bold move for me was probably the YouTube channel, starting a YouTube channel, going on video, sharing myself on a regular basis, frequently online, letting people into my home and just being open to sharing the love and the light that I have for women around the world. Social media can be a really difficult place to consistently show up because, of course, there are days when you're going to get the praise, you're going to get the good vibes, you'll get people agreeing with you, but there are also days when people can just be mean. Yes. And it's not necessarily because they're disagreeing with you. Maybe they're just having a bad day and they're taking it out on you. And so over the years, it's been really interesting, but it's probably been one of the best decisions I've made for my business to be on YouTube and to stay consistently, not necessarily taking off a couple months or weeks or just not posting videos when I don't feel like it, but being consistent to have that presence, because for the women that it does help, that's who I'm there for. It's not for, the people that aren't necessarily going to agree or I maybe rub the wrong way because of how I'm saying something. And so I can continue to model the level of confidence I teach my clients to have by sharing it and using that confidence myself. And so I would say that's probably one of the scariest things I had to do is just kind of get over like being on camera and putting myself out there. But it's really been a rewarding experience. And I've received countless emails and letters from women that my channel has really changed their lives for the better. And so that truly does make it worth it.
I love that. And I love that you're leading by example too, because I think so many times when you have, of course, there's so many different coaches online these days, and you have to sometimes wonder like, okay, well, you're telling me to do this, but have you ever tried it? So I think it's great that you are putting yourself kind of in your client's shoes there. Now, I was kind of surprised to hear that you quit a corporate job to be an entrepreneur, but you mentioned starting the YouTube channel as being your scariest bold move. I'd love to hear more about that. And then I'd love to hear how you pushed past the fear and still, uploaded that first video knowing that you could potentially have haters, or even what you would recommend to a client that was about to do something scary, how they should push through, or how she should push through, I guess I should say, since you work with ladies.
Sure. So yeah, I think it's all about preparation. And for me, I'm super type A. So I like to brainstorm different decisions, select an option of how I'm going to take action, and then put a plan in place for how to make it happen. So for some situations, things for me are very black and white. They're very simple and easy to kind of navigate through. But when there are opportunities where there's more uncertainty and there's more risk, anytime I just am really not able to fully see the picture of what things will look like on the other side, that's usually when some of that level of uncertainty starts to happen and that fear can creep in, that fear and doubt. And so for me with transitioning from work, it's really about, I think, having a plan in place and being able to say, if A happens, I've got this backup. And if B happens, I've got this backup. And so just thinking through how to best make those plans and make sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted. And for me, it's pretty easy to do that just because I am that type A. I live by lists every day. I have lists and it really just helps me to stay organized. And so I love having that and having an action plan and having my steps and kind of just going through. So from an operational perspective, it's really simple to execute. But I would say in general, I usually make decisions based on logic.
Okay.
And I focus on the facts rather than emotions and feelings. And so, it's not necessarily for me to make a decision only based on how I feel in that moment. Feelings are a part of it, but I also look at the big picture and I like to look at the facts and think about the logic through different decisions. I would say for any woman that is looking to overcome a fear, you just have to really decide if the desired result and the desired outcome is bigger than your fear, if it's more important, if it's more impactful, the potential result that you can have on the other side compared to that level of uncertainty or doubt that you may have. And so one thing I really encourage women to do is to pivot their mindset from what's the worst thing that can happen, the worst case scenario, to the best case scenario, which is what's the best thing that can happen. So you apply for the dream job. The best thing that can happen is that you get the position.
Right.
You decide to move to a new city. The best thing that can happen is that you fall in love with a new place and you build a life there. You go on the first date with a guy that you're not really sure about. What's the best thing that can happen is that you end up, falling in love and you give yourself a chance, you give him a chance, and you can build a life with an amazing partner. So I think it's really just about focusing on the good and the positive things, the things that you're hoping to attain in terms of the results, and really focus on that, because what you focus on is what you will create and how you'll really just share that energy in the universe. I would say for the first video that I uploaded, I really just thought about just giving it a chance. I wasn't sure. I'd heard of so many people doing well on YouTube, but at the same time, I also felt like there was a lot of research saying how it was kind of stalling. Certain channels were getting shut down and people weren't able to get as much in advertising pay. And so for some people, I was seeing a lot of mixed reviews. Sure, there had been YouTubers that had been out for 8 or 10 years and they were doing well. But for some of the newer YouTubers, they just didn't have the same level of success rate. And so I just said to myself, well, let me just see. I'll try it, give it a shot for a couple of months. And even though I wasn't sure what type of feedback or response I would get, I had to get out of my own way and just go for it. So I put the first video up and the rest, they say, is history.
I love that. So I'm curious, with all of the different things that you're doing, and it seems like you're incorporating so many different aspects of life with the style and the coaching. And it makes sense because, of course, none of our lives are just completely one-dimensional where you just need someone to help you with one thing. But I'm curious if you know your purpose through all of this, and if so, how you would define it.
Sure. And I think that's an amazing question. Because I did start out with style, if you had asked me this question several years ago, I probably would have said to just help women, express their personality through their wardrobe. But it's so much more than that, because what I have found is that it all really goes hand in hand. How you feel is affected by much more than just what you're wearing. And so it's really about that feeling. It's about that level of confidence and that level of certainty in who you are. I would certainly say that my purpose is simply to just empower women. However I can empower, inspire, motivate, encourage them, whether it's through a resource, through a kind word, through a smile, a hug, through what I'm doing with my life or with my business, just to kind of set an example. My life purpose is really to empower women, and just being able to live in my purpose every day, I feel so much more inspired myself personally. And that really gives me the confirmation that I'm certainly, I'm on the right track. I'm doing what God has intended me to do.
I love that. I think that's beautiful. And I think that shows, like how you mentioned that you would have had a different answer before. Your current answer still applies to what you were doing. You just were doing it in a different way. So I think that's amazing. And that's one of the things that I love about asking this question, because for a lot of people, purpose can be like a big, scary thing. And it all depends on what you make it and how precise you think it needs to be, or, whether or not you're open to your purpose changing over the course of your life. So that's always been something that has been really fascinating to me. So thank you for your answer on that one.
Oh, I love the question. Thank you, Mandy.
Of course. So obviously your own book would be a book recommendation. And like I said, we'll link to that in the show notes. But I'm wondering if you have any other books that are good reading. So it could be something fun to read on the beach, or it could be, books that have helped shape you, personal development. Any genre is welcome.
Absolutely. So two of my favorites. One is Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. She's incredible. I love all of her TV shows. I'm still watching episodes of Scandal on Netflix like it just came out because it just never gets old for me. That book is really incredible and really inspiring. And Shonda is so very candid in what she shares. I absolutely love just how transparent she is with her personal stories and her testimony. The other book I would recommend is Lessons from Madame Chic by Jennifer L. Scott, who also is the author of my foreword from my book. She is a great friend, and she has an amazing YouTube channel and blog and business. And that book is really a very inspiring and elegant reminder for how to really just enjoy a simple life with everyday luxuries and really embrace that, being able to fully just enjoy all that life has to offer.
That sounds absolutely lovely. Thank you for sharing those.
You're welcome.
The variety. I was just talking about The Year of Yes the other day. I don't remember why. I haven't read it yet, but it's on the to-read list. So I'll add both of those to my very long list of books that I would love to read someday.
Well, we've got all summer, so hopefully you can get started sometime soon, Mandy.
Yes, absolutely. I hope so too. Well, I feel like you've already given so much value and advice just naturally in our conversation, but I always like to give my guests the opportunity to share any other advice, lessons, or any message that's on your heart. So if there's anything you feel like you haven't said yet, but you'd like to share with our listeners or viewers, I hand you the opportunity to share that now.
Sure. Thank you, Mandy. For any woman listening to this right now, I would encourage you to know that you are more than enough. I think a lot of us feel like we are not worthy or we don't deserve love or respect or accolades. And we just need to lose 5 pounds. We just need to get another degree. We just have to do one more thing. And so I just want you to be encouraged that you are more than enough right now. You are nothing less than amazing greatness. You're full of passion and talent and love and life. And so I just encourage you to not only honor that, but to also embrace that and really know in your heart of hearts that you are worthy of anything and everything that you desire in your heart. So I'm all about encouraging that self-love and self-worth because it really does make such a big difference in how we live and how we carry ourselves, and that influences the type of life that we experience.
Absolutely. I love that. What a beautiful pep talk for ladies to hear on a Monday morning, or men if you need it and you're listening. Can't forget the men.
They can still learn from anything that we have to share about women's empowerment for sure. They can take some golden nuggets.
Yes, and they can get on board and help empower us too.
Yes, absolutely.
Fabulous. Well, my final question for you is one of my favorites. So if 8-year-old Devoreaux had a crystal ball and could see where you are now, the whole journey leading up to this, and then, of course, since it's a crystal ball, the foreseeable future. So any plans that you have, I know we talked a little bit about summer reading and getting back to Paris at some point soon. On a scale of 1 to 11, how excited would little Devoreaux be to see you now?
Well, with 1 being the lowest and 11 being the highest, I'd say she'd have to be at a 12.
Love it.
Because 12 is her favorite number. That's also the month she was born in December. But I would say, just having the dreams and the goals and not necessarily knowing where or how things are going to fall into place or land. It's just so incredible that sometimes you can achieve far more than you ever expected. And that would be exactly what she's thinking.
I love that because I'm a type A person myself and quite the rule follower. And this is like one of the only times that I actually am excited when someone breaks the rule is when they give me a number higher than 11. So that's any day. Well, thank you so much for your positive energy and everything that you've had to offer. I think so many ladies, but men too, will get a great dose of positivity and motivation from this chat. So I really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you so much for having me, Mandy. It was a pleasure.
Oh, the pleasure is all mine. I hope that you enjoyed episode number 267. I can't believe how close I am getting to 300 episodes. It is surreal. I think there might have to be a summit with all of the Bold Moves guests. What do you think about that? Let me know by connecting with me on social media. I'm at Mandy Bryce just about everywhere. Now, I know I'm already making requests, so I'm going to add to the list. I'm going to give you a to-do list today. First of all, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. Your phone will either automatically download the episodes as they come out on Mondays and Fridays, or send you a notification that there's a new episode available. So I would love it if you did that so you could listen to all of them and benefit as much as possible from them. If you haven't already shared this episode with somebody who you think will find it inspiring or magical or entertaining, motivational, fill in the blank, please share this because I would like to get it into as many ears as possible with my hope that hearing people's stories will have people recognize themselves in those stories and then have them realize that, hey, if that person like Devoreaux can do something like that, there's no reason why I can't do that myself. And then hopefully you'll be inspired to go after that dream. That's my goal anyway. So please share this. And then finally, I would love it if you would leave a review on iTunes. If you leave me a 5-star review, which is of course my preference, iTunes will use their algorithm to hopefully suggest this podcast to more people. And again, that will go right back to that goal of getting in as many ears as possible. However, if you think that there are some improvements to be made, please feel free to give me constructive criticism, either in an iTunes review that is 5 stars or less, or again, like I said, I'm at Mandy Bryce everywhere on social media and happy to connect with you. Or you could go to boldmovespodcast.com, which is also where you'll find links to everything that Devoreaux and I chatted about, so you can connect with her on social media as well. All right, I have a challenge from Devoreaux coming on Friday that you're not going to want to miss, so make sure you stay tuned. And as always, be bold and have a sparkly day. Bye-bye.